Hey guys, welcome to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your host, Harry Wilmington, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about spinning plates, dating more than one woman at a time, and what to do when you're out and about with one woman and another woman that you're dating sees you out with that other woman. And I think I've talked about this before on the show about dating multiple women, but I really want to dive deep into specifically as an introverted guy, what that means for you and how to handle situations. Well, how to handle situations when you're out and about and people see you, but also more importantly, how to deal with the inner turmoil that can arise from the idea of dating more than one woman at a time. If you're an introvert, there are various things that you may come up against that feelings-wise, such as the feeling of not wanting to feel like you're cheating on a girl as you're getting to know one girl versus another one, and also the energy that it takes to try to date multiple people, and of course, dealing with any potential blowback when you're out and about and people see you. So let's talk about all of that today. So I found a guy on Reddit that had asked a question, which I'm going to read through and stop in parts to answer, and then I'll give some more commentary about this whole subject, okay? So his question was, when spinning plates... Oh, by the way, for those of you that are not used to a lot of manosphere jargon, basically spinning plates is another term for dating multiple women. Think about like if you go to the circus and you see a person that's a plate juggler and he's holding like 5 or 6 plates at a time and spinning them around. So the idea is that you basically want to be spinning plates, i.e. dating multiple women, because on the off chance that one of those plates falls, well, it doesn't matter because you have 4 other plates that are still spinning, which means you will not be overly invested in any particular woman, which will allow you to have a more level head as you are dating, as opposed to if you only had one plate spinning, i.e. if you were only dating one woman at a time, and as a result of that, all of your focus, your hopes, your dreams is relying on this one plate to work absolutely perfectly. But in the process of doing that, you could end up possibly adding too much force to the situation, putting too much pressure on her to have to make this be a thing, and you could actually end up losing that one plate, and versus if you had multiple plates, that wouldn't necessarily happen. So, but anyway, so his question was, when spinning plates, how do you approach handling when one plate sees you out with another? So he says, for those of you who are familiar, spinning plates is a term that, from my understanding, means dating a decent number of people at once without signaling commitment or being too attached to any one of them. And he says, feel free to correct me, but that's absolutely correct. The idea of this is that you're not going to be putting too much focus on any one person. So you'll be able to go out and about. You can date one person over here, one person over there, and you're not doing things that make it look like you're adding pressure or being too needy or a plethora of other things that can arise when you're putting all your focus and energy on one person. Now, some people mistake the whole idea of spinning plates as you got to be in a relationship with multiple people. And that's not what spinning plates is. Spinning plates is designed specifically for the dating portion of the relationship, whereby you're really trying to see who you best connect with. And I think a lot of guys, they'll go on a dating site or they'll meet somebody through somebody and get a date connection, but then they'll go out on that first date and assume that this one person now needs to be their entire focus. And so as guys, we can sometimes start making assumptions and start putting our hopes and dreams into somebody before we even get them to that first dinner. And that's why you want to set up more than one date with more than one person in the beginning, because for all you know, you go out on a date with this one person and it just not feel good. And then you can go out on a date with another person and be like, okay, this person has some potential. I could see some likes that we have together. And then you go out with another person. It's like, oh my God, this person's the person of my dreams. You go out with another person. Okay, this one's not so as good on my radar as some of the other ones were. And then you'll go out on second dates with some of these women, and you'll find on that second date that some you really do have a stronger connection to and others you don't. So that's why spinning plates is actually a very good thing. Now, as an introvert, you're going to be probably feeling like, but that's a lot of energy, that's a lot of time, and it's not fair to the one person that I've already agreed I want to start trying to date. But that's the problem, is that when you're going out on these dates, with that first, say you meet a woman and you go on that first date with her, okay? You don't know in advance if you're going to have a good time. And even if you have a good time on that first date, one date does not determine how a woman actually is. So you're thinking off that first date, I can read into her personality, I already know what she's about, and I'm already deciding before the second date that she's probably going to be my person. But anybody can make a good impression in like a 60 to 90 minute date, okay? You need more time put into a person before you decide to date them. And that's what women do. Women are so much better at the vetting process of dating, meaning they're not assuming after one date that you're the end all be all. They're assuming you did a good job and that they felt things, but they need a lot more time in with you before they solidify their feelings. I tell you guys all the time, it takes a woman 2 to 3 months on average to solidify her feelings for you. That gives her time to do due diligence. So don't think for a second that she doesn't have other people that she's saying yes to for dates, or that she doesn't have other people on the back burner in case you don't work out, or that she doesn't have a friends with benefits that she's still hooking up with while you two are dating. The reality is she knows that until you have really established some more time together, that first date is not the wherewithal, okay? So don't think women aren't also spinning plates. Anyway, continuing on. He says, I was out this weekend at some park at a book fair with a girl, and another girl I'm seeing apparently saw me there. I sent pictures of a book I got, and she said something like, oh, I thought you got that at the book fair, and then said, I thought you were having fun. I said, if you saw me, you should have said hi. She said, you were far, and I didn't want to. These texts aren't important. I'm just giving some context. So yeah, so here's the thing. The girl saw him. Girls aren't dumb. She knew you were with another girl. She doesn't have to necessarily know the context of whether it was a date, whether it was your cousin, etc., but she's guessing it probably was a date, okay? But more importantly, she knew not to interfere in that date, because why make it awkward? Like, there's really no reason for her to come up to you if she knows that it's a date to make the situation awkward for you, and more importantly, awkward for her, because now seeing you with another girl, she's thinking that there could be a risk of rejection of your part. Like, she doesn't know how deep in you are with her or how deep you are with the girl that she saw you on a date with, okay? So she actually played it perfectly in this case, okay? You trying to bring it up, if she's not trying to bring it up, you don't need to bring it up, because again, most women kind of know the rules of the game. As much as they don't like it, they know that you're probably seeing other people. Hey, during this time, she's probably seeing other people. And so if you see each other out and neither of you wants to bring it up, that's totally fine. Now, a woman will bring it up at the point where she's really invested in you and she's like, hey, we've been dating for a few months now. Like, are you seeing anybody else? Well, I saw you on a date. I saw you with a girl on this other thing. Was that a date? Okay, so like, what's the situation? Like, are you feeling her more than me? Are you feeling me more than her? Like, what's going on? At the point where a woman wants to start having those conversations about being in a relationship, she will definitely bring up the idea of you dating other people and not wanting that to happen. Before then, it's not being brought up. Totally fine. Let it slide. Continuing, he says, I know this isn't a big deal because I haven't given any signals to either of them that I want it to be exclusive by any means whatsoever. But seeing other people also isn't something I explicitly talked about with them. And again, it shouldn't be. During the dating phase, your only job is to take these women on dates and show them a good enough time and make them feel the things they need to feel to where at some point they start thinking to themselves, I keep having a good time with this guy. This guy really understands me. We have a great connection and I don't want him to be with anybody else. I think I need to bring this up with him. That's your only job, is to show up, have a good time, hook up if you can. But yeah, you do that. And then after a while, if that's going consistently well, she will bring up a relationship. It is your job as a guy to take them out and have a good time. It is their job as the woman to bring up the idea of a relationship. If you bring it up, more often than not, it's too early, too soon, and you're going to lose out, okay? So you're playing this perfectly. Don't mess it up. Continuing, he says, even though I say I don't care what girls do when they're not with me, I probably would feel a little bit down if I saw someone I was seeing out having a great time with another guy, and I'm sure that the girl felt a similar way. Well, of course you would. So you're not trying to actively like stalk this woman and see if she's on dates with other guys. You got to know in the back of your head that when she's not around, chances are that's probably happening. But there is something to be said for the whole like out of sight, out of mind. Like, it's not an actual reality unless you see that stuff, but only off chance that you happen to be out and you see a girl that you're dating with another guy, I wouldn't recommend approaching. And also on the off chance that she sees that you see her with somebody else and she brings it up, you need to play it as it is no big deal, okay? Because the thing is that women are going to want to see that you're understanding of the dating process, and that even if you like her, you're letting her process things that in the way that she needs to. Also, more importantly, if she's not actually your girlfriend yet, she can really do whatever the heck she wants. Now, here's an interesting tidbit though. I find, and I've done this a few times, okay, is that let's say you see a woman out and then she's with somebody else, whatever, and then later down the line, she brings it up. She's bringing it up to you, anticipating you're going to be mad, upset, whatever. When you're just kind of like, well, I mean, hey, we're just dating, so you can see who you want to see while we're just in the dating phase of things. Most women's minds are going to be so blown that you're not jealous and overbearing. And in the meantime, the guy that she was probably on a date with was probably like, well, who is that guy? Or why is he acting out? Or like how you be dating people? So that guy that she was with probably like freaked out. Of the two of you, you're going to look like the one that's more confident about yourself. And in the back of her head, she's going to be thinking, wait, why isn't he worried that I'm dating somebody else? Like, does he have other prospects? Are there other prospects that he has that are better than me? Is that why he's not so concerned whether I come or go? Like, that can actually make her want to ramp up trying to attract you even more. The late, great Doc Love, who, if you guys haven't checked out his stuff, I recommend going to doclove.com and checking out his archives. He's got like 20 years of archives of great stuff. And he's one of the earlier gurus that actually helped me in my dating journey. He used to have this phrase called kitty cats compete, meaning that women, whether you know it or not, are always in their head thinking that they're competing again with you with somebody else, even girls that are unseen. Especially early on in the dating phase, when those times when you take her on a date and then you don't talk to her for 3 or 4 days, during that time, part of her is thinking, do I have competition? Is this the reason why he's not reaching out? And what can I do to make that competition go away? Okay, so it only really benefits you if a woman thinks that there's competition out there, even if there's not. And I'll get more into that in a little bit. So he says, as of right now, nothing really happened, but I would not be surprised if the girl that saw me out will be less intimate with me in the future. How should I go about approaching this? Basically, I want to keep what we had going, and I feel like this situation puts that at risk. It's basically all speculation as of now, but regardless of this specific situation, I think the answers here could be of value. So here's the thing, guy. You're thinking that if a woman knows that she has competition, that she's going to be thinking in her logic head, oh, I don't want to get intimate with him anymore because, STDs and other diseases, and I don't want to spread stuff. And again, the way that you as a guy would logically process this is not the way that women are going to process this. Yes, they're aware that there are STDs and other kind of diseases out there, and they could risk hooking up with you and then getting something if you're hooking up with other women. But also the reality is there's contraceptions, there's condoms, there's things that she could be doing that can make all this stuff go away. But again, it goes back to the feeling tone. If she is really feeling you and has strong interest in you, and she sees you out with another woman, for one, you ain't got to tell her that you're getting intimate with like these 5 other girls that you're dating. That's not a thing you have to necessarily do, okay? But if she's feeling that, again, that's not going to take away from the fact that she still has strong feelings for you. There are plenty of guys that have women in their lives that knowingly know that they're probably hooking up with other people, that are sometimes helping them to get other women to hook up with to keep them happy. Like, those kind of scenarios exist, okay? And so understand that at the end of the day, high interest cuts everything. That's another thing that Doc Love used to say is high interest cuts everything. So a woman that is highly interested, that sees you out with another woman, she's going to be more concerned about doing everything she can to get rid of her competition, even if that means having to sleep with you more, even if she knows that other women are probably doing that. And to a guy, sometimes this makes no logical sense, but get out of your logical mind and start really studying up on how do women process dating? How do they process the guys that they're attracted to? What excuses are they making for guys that they are attracted to because they want to still continue to be attracted to them and still hook up with them, etc., etc. Okay? So, all this to say, how do you handle the idea that if a woman sees you out and about, how do you deal with that situation? Again, you don't bring it up. If anybody's going to bring it up, let her be the one to bring it up. And if she brings it to your attention that, hey, I noticed you were out with some other woman, what's going on, yada, 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 understand that that confession that she saw you doing that and that it bugged her, what she's really confessing is that she has such strong feelings for you and she doesn't want that competition. Which means if you've been dating a girl for 2 months and this happens, this might be the point where she's actually now ready to have a dating conversation. And nothing in this scenario is going to be harmful to you, okay? If anything, you got to look at everything as if a woman sees you doing some stuff, what does that actually mean in terms of her feelings for you, and how can that be to your benefit? So in this case, a woman catches you out. Well, all that means is that she has strong feelings for you. So you can say something like, well, okay, so it bugged you when you saw me out with another woman. So what is that? What are you saying? Are you saying that you have really strong feelings for me? Are you saying that you don't want me to be dating anybody else? Are you trying to have an exclusive talk? Like, what's going on? So that action of her seeing you with another woman, if this is a woman that you actually want to be with on a long term, more so than the girl you were with, could actually lead to the exclusivity talk, in which case you get what you want. Now, if she says, well, I was bugged by it and I don't like that and you need to stop it, and you're not at that place with her yet where you want to do that, you could realistically say, well, look, you know what? Right now, I'm just dating a lot of people. You don't have to say a lot. You say, I'm going out on dates with you and with other people just to see who my best match is. And so I think we have a good thing going. I still want to find out more about you, just like I'm finding out more stuff about other people before I come to any kind of decision. Now, if that bugs you, then that means that you got to do what you got to do. And I want to continue to get to know you. But if that's not in the cards for us and you don't feel that anywhere, then I wish you the best. But I would still like to get to know you. Ultimately, what you got to show is that you are indifferent to the situation, because how she feels, while it's important, it's not the reality of the situation. It's not the reality of what's working best for you. If what's working best for you is you want to be able to date multiple people until you decide which one you want to be in a relationship with, then that's the mode you go on. And again, the majority of women will be understanding of that. The few ones that aren't, and that are just like, hey, I only want to date one person at a time, and I want the person that I'm dating to only be dating one person at a time, that is also in their right, and you got to let them go, because there's nothing you can't force a person to want to change up how they operate in the dating world. But the point is, you shouldn't feel bad for dating multiple people. Now, last thing I'll say is that, again, the whole thing, the idea is that you want to be indifferent. That does not, so spinning plates helps with that, because again, if you're dating 3 women and one falls off, well, no harm, no foul. You got 2 other women you're still getting to know. But that does not mean you have to do that. But it helps to be able to be in the practice of doing that, because if you get to a point where you do just want to date one girl at a time and at the same time not want to freak out, well, having the practice of spinning plates will allow your brain to get into the idea and mindset that there are always going to be other women out there. So that way, if you decide to be that guy that dates one woman at a time, you can go on a date with one woman, but still not put all your eggs in that basket, and still say to yourself knowingly, if this doesn't work out, somewhere down the line, another woman will come along. And when you're spinning plates, that means you're having to practice multiple techniques of approaching women, of talking to women, of asking them for dates, of taking them out and being able to interact with them. And you do that enough times, it becomes a skill set. Once you have that skill set, you won't have to have 3 or 4 girls that you're dating at one time. You can be dating one girl, knowing that you have the skill set to get another girl to date if you want to, should this one not work out. So I always advise guys, don't feel bad about spinning plates. It is a great thing to practice so you can get into the mind frame of abundance, into the mind frame of being indifferent, into the mind frame of not having to feel so strongly for a girl you're just going on a first date with, because that's not really the healthiest way to date. Now, if you need help getting into that mind frame, I got a lot of great stuff at my website, introvertdatingsuccess.com. Right now, you can get my Introvert Dating Success program, which will give you the ins and outs of how to meet, greet, attract, land, and keep the woman of your dreams, and how to have the kind of mindset that you need of abundance to be able to date effectively, whether you're dating one woman at a time or spinning multiple plates at a time. You can also go there to get a free copy of my best-selling ebook, No Girls For You, The Ultimate Guide to Losing the Girl of Your Dreams, which is the ebook and audiobook that teaches you the ins and outs of how you're dating right now causes you to lose women. You can get it for free by signing up for my video newsletter with your name and email address at the website. You'll have instant access to it. Also, guys, right now I'm doing my 25 shows for 25 days leading up to Christmas. So we got 6 more of these shows. It's been a lot of recording time, but I'm happy I've been able to do it for you guys. So if you have any questions or subjects you want me to cover on one of these shows, write to me at HarryWilmington@gmail.com, or leave a comment in the comment section if you're watching this on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/HarryWilmington. And if you want to show support monetarily for all these wonderful shows that I've been doing, you can go to my Cash App, $HarryWilmington, and leave a monetary contribution. So yeah, that's all I got for today's show. I will catch you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Introvert Dating Success Show. I'm out. Peace.